What does it truly mean to serve? Is leadership about power or about responsibility? Welcome to Your Stewardship, a compelling radio program that shines the spotlight on individuals in positions of service and the impact they've made or are still making on the people they serve. From public officials to community leaders, from the health sector to education and beyond, we ask the tough questions. Have they been accountable? Have they delivered? Have they truly served? This is more than just a conversation. It is a moment of reflection, transparency, and truth. Join us as we explore real stories, real challenges, and real outcomes, because stewardship is not just a title, it's a duty. Your stewardship, service, accountability, and impact.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Your Stewardship, the program where we engage leaders and accomplished personalities on issues of leadership, governance, accountability, and national development. I am your host, Remy Allen. Today we are featuring a man whose career reflects decades of leadership and public service. Our guest is Brigadier General Olamide Ohunyeye, a retired senior officer of the Nigerian Army with over 3 decades of distinguished military service. Commissioned into the Nigerian Army in 1992 as a member of the 39th Regular Combatant Corps of the Nigerian Defense Academy. He built an exceptional career in military finance, administration, strategic planning, and resource management. General Olamide Ohunyeye is joining us via Zoom in a moment. Please do stay with us.
Service, leadership. Join us on this journey of discovery, real accountability. Leadership is about responsibility.
Every life is a stewardship.
Discover practical lessons on leadership and real accountability. Scrutinizing the impact on the people. Ensure that our people come first.
We are uncovering the stories of progress.
This is Your Stewardship.
Thank you, General, for joining us on Your Stewardship. It's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you, my host. Let me especially, on behalf of myself, appreciate you and the entire staff and management of Ondo State Division Corporation, OSRC, for giving me the platform to address the audience, the state today. It is my belief that my interaction will be a source of encouragement, guidance, and tutelage for our growing and teaming youths, so that they can be focused in career selection and a definite path towards their growth in life.
All right, General, thank you. Tell us about your childhood in Ilutitun and the values that shaped your life.
My childhood spans about 3 towns within the Usuru area. Those towns are Okituba, Ilututun, and Ayila. I was born in Ayila for 4 years. So at about 4 years I left for Okituba. The molding factor from my first to 5 is the influence of my father, who was an accomplished teacher then. I was from 1966 to about 1970-71 before he died. Thereafter, I moved to to be with my uncle, and who was also a teacher, and that exacted a great influence. So what it is to be molded by teachers, it's going to be a life of experimentation and focused learning.
I haven't gone through the tutelage of teachers, your father, your uncle, and all that. So, what inspired your journey into military?
My journey into the military was by accident. From my primary school, Methodist primary school, to Moribodo College, then University of Houston. In 1985, studying accounting. I stumbled on some of my colleagues that tutored me on the value of attending the military school without there was the word of payment of school fees, because it was becoming obvious that paying school fees was becoming very, very difficult. So the only major escape there was MBA, which was also a degree I wanted. And when I saw that MBA, I thought that it's a good escape route for me instead of and solve the unnecessary. So it was just by accident. It wasn't really planned that I have to join the military.
That's quite interesting. And since you joined, was there ever a time you seriously questioned whether you should remain in the Nigerian Army, if you made the right choice?
When I passed exam in the Brig Academy, 1987, that spans 5 years up to 1992, have to keep asking yourself, for those 5 years, if you have made the right decision for purpose. Because when like you're in paradise, but with that complete shift in the paradigm, in complete U-turn to the military sector, that you are in for a super, a very important, and that was what a typical cadet at the Defense Academy faces for 5 years. It's a very tough, very, very tough career that will not give you breathing space. And you are on daily basis praying to God to survive that day. And that's how you pray to God to survive each day for 5 years. So at that point, there are a lot of regrets. You want to wonder, why did I leave Israel? Where everything was just, everything was not controlled. Where students can be waking up at night and sounding like animals. Where nobody really focuses on what you are doing at your spare time. Fast food. And you enter the regiment that you have to be looking at your left and you have to, everything has to be controlled. Even the way you eat. Wow. Everything is highly regimented. So at that point, you have a lot of regret. Why did I leave my civil university? But of course, the good thing about it is that the short time while you are there, you see life in a different perspective. Your mentality as an individual will change. You'll be toughened. You'll be strengthened. Because that is the basis of what fear. You'll be disciplined. You'll be courageous. You'll be tenacious. You have courage. Have discipline. And let me just talk for one talk. Language. The military language groom you. You'll be groomed. You'll be recooked. You'll be shaping. Everything about you, even though you are still young, but you are carrying the boldness, the tenacity of the spirit. That is natural.
All right.
When you live with that mindset, to become an officer, it's different whole thing. There are challenges because the military discipline is on well. Maybe you compare one or two, just one I can see, which is piloting, profession with it. At the basis of comparison, or as a soldier, you are not going to tell the story. For example, if you are playing a music and you press the wrong button, not the crash it there because you surely die with that.
Okay.
And your calculator, you are not the one with that. Very precision intensive outfit.
Okay, so
and that's the military promoter profession.
all right. And despite this demanding military career, you still earned several degrees, including a PhD. What motivated your commitment to continuous learning?
All right, let me now tell you about that. For a typical officer, a commissioned officer, either Army, Air Force, or Navy, so you are trained to be a double professional. You have a dual profession. And as much as possible, you are trained to be as perfect as possible. The first profession, which is the military profession, you must learn the rudiments of war, you must learn the art of war fighting, and at that level of NDA officers training, you learn the rest of you want to learn that through the 5 years. That's the phase one. And to build a crowd people, there are equally career development courses, career development exams that shape your growth and career path. And it is mandatory that you follow this path. And that's what we have to be the senior corner. And when you get to the senior corner, that's when you go to the defense corner, which are strategic college. So defense college, national defense college, you have the needs, your on-the-job performance towards ensuring efficient service delivery.
Okay.
Being very strong on the academic life, professional life, and be very strong on the military life.
Okay. Many people associate military service with combat, but your specialization was military finance and administration. Why is this area so important to national security?
Okay. Well, of course, we have what that government is improving salaries and wages for the military. And those are technical areas that require special in-depth financial knowledge to be able to know what is due to each person. Of course, one of the soul of every organization is financial management. So when you have a very large and complex organization like the armed forces, not having well-groomed financial experts, then it becomes very difficult for them to interface with the political elements, like the Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank, Secretary General of the Federation, the Budget Office. They have to interface with them to be able to produce a good budget, to be able to defend the budget, to be able to implement their budget, to execute their budget. So you need professionals within the ministry to be able to achieve this in-house competence center that can give quality advice, that are very resourceful, that can come out and marshal efficient and judicious use of resources to achieve accountability, probity, and general conformity with government policies and principles.
Okay, so you managed finance, administration, and strategic resources at a high level. What is the biggest lesson you learned about leadership? Is it that success depends on more on the amount of resources available, or on the integrity, competence, and discipline of the people that is managing them?
Resources cannot be completely adequate. So it behoves on managers to ensure that they take the best decision possible in order to efficiently deploy resources. Now, in deploying resources efficiently, you must bear in mind the need to be very accountable, to be very transparent, to be very accountable. So this involves your training, the career development, the professional development. And these are factors that you have to juggle their mix in order to achieve the best use of resources for the armed forces, for the system. And the basic experience is that your leader, your boss, sees the way you manage resources for him. He sees the way resources are being deployed among critical and competitive ends to maximize utility and to ensure that resources or objectives are achieved.
Okay, so let's look in Nigeria today. Corruption has become one key thing that is bringing us down all over the world. Will you say corruption is primarily a systems problem, or is it a character problem?
To be corrupt, these have to do with individuals. Corruption has to do with individuals. It can never be endemic. It's not a systemic problem. But if you relate this in what happens to the military, the discipline, the regimentation, the strict adherence to guidelines, especially the financial
aspect of it.
Financial guidelines, the strict oversight by immediate commanders, the feedback and feed forward mechanisms, by your peers, certainly makes it very, very difficult for personnel within the military to corrupt. The controls are very strict, and the system is very open and transparent. There are double audits body. You have the federal audit system, federal oversight system, checking what individuals are doing, while at the same time you have organic internal audit bodies that still move around check, to confirm, to ensure that the resources are being judiciously used the way they are planned. So by and large, we may have one or two bad eggs, which cannot be, overruled, but certainly within the military, the level of discipline and probity the resource utilization is extremely very, very high. And really, it is nothing to worry about. We really have instances of misuse of resources.
All right. Moving on, how did your experience in the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Sierra Leone, how did it shape your perspective on leadership and conflict management, especially considering the various combatant groups that we are fighting against in Nigeria today?
My involvement with United Nations I didn't go there to fight. I went there for financial management.
Okay.
But by and large, the enormity of this large operation, can easily be brought to bear on activities in your whole country. The one basic thing about the United Nations is that everything is to standard. If you see the deployed somewhere to oversee a particular area of operation, be sure that everything the battalion needs practically will be provided to scale. And of course, only United Nations. But of course, if you Congo, you see about 90%, 80% of such mission.
Okay.
When you go to United Nations, you will observe that the Nigerian armed forces have been properly well trained. But when you get there, it's found that we take the lead. Other countries will back to emulator because the level of training we have at home is very high. So you go there, you are not backbencher. You are right in front, and in front of other countries' military, they always go in terms of workmanship, in terms of leadership, in terms of the process.
Okay.
Our vision.
All right. General, in the military hierarchy, directives are issued down the chain of command. But in democratic governance, leadership requires compromise, it requires public debate and opposition scrutiny. How do you answer critics who argue that senior military background breeds an autocratic leadership style, one that may struggle with civil union resistance, legislative negotiation, and of course, media scrutiny? How do you balance this?
It's very unfortunate that I believe that the military is very but autocratic. So when you go out to activity, everybody within that cycle is a member of the team, and their voice counts. For example, there is a popular saying during the Arab-Israeli War of 1973 that it was a lieutenant that provided the idea of how they solved the legal problem they had, the operation. What I'm trying to say is that when you go out to conduct operation, the general wants to hear how junior officers will solve their problem. The general will tell you, okay, I want you to move from here to that location and go and capture the enemy and destroy them. But they are not going to tell you how to mission command philosophy. the army, to the armed forces. Military command philosophy means that the senior commander tells the junior commander what and not how to do it. You tell your junior what to do and not how to do it. Even though you have an oversight to ensure that his modus operandi are correct. So the junior commander goes to show his own class and come to brief you that my commander, based on what you have told me, this is exactly how I want to carry out this operation. This part, this is how we will do it. And you're going to synchronize it, you scrutinize and ensure that yes, what he has is actually very physical. And you give him go ahead, to implement that. So the military is at that instance is the most different organizations because you cannot do it all. Your job is to give a general guidance and you allow initiative to flow at the new level for them to come out with how they want to achieve the mission they are giving to them.
Okay. So Nigeria continues to struggle with poor planning, wastage, and weak implementation across many public institutions. From your experience in military strategic planning, where do you think the country gets resource management most wrong, and what should change?
The current government, Ahmed Tinubu, had come out with a lot of policies that are shaping and correcting most of perceived internal weaknesses within the economy. And I now speak from the point of view of an accountant or an economist, not as a soldier. Now, the leakages you have within the economy before now, like the subsidies, whether it's forex subsidies or fuel subsidies, to see the management, they have been removed.
All right, thank you very much. You're tuned to Your Stewarship on Orange 94.5 FM and OSRC Television, depending on which of our channels you're following us from. Thank you for being a part of the program. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue with the conversation. Please don't go away.
Service, leadership. Join us on this journey of discovery, real accountability. Leadership is about responsibility.
Every life is a stewardship.
Discover practical lessons on leadership and real accountability. Scrutinizing the impact on the people. Ensure that our people come first.
We are uncovering the stories of progress.
This is Your Stewardship.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, this is Your Stewardship on Orange 94.5 FM and OSRC Television. You can listen to us live on Radio Garden. Follow us on our Facebook page, Orange 94.5 FM, Instagram, Orange 94.5 FM, Akure, on X at Orange 945 FM, and on YouTube, you can subscribe to our channel, Orange 94.5 FM. You can also watch us on our sister channel, OSRC TV, on Facebook. Subscribe to our channel, OSRC TV Ondo, on YouTube. On Moplex 720, Free TV 760, and on Star Times channel 113. Yes, Brigadier Olamide Ohunyeye is still very much with us via Zoom. Moving on, you previously aspired to lead Ondo State. What inspired that decision?
Well, military itself is all about leadership. Right from the day you enter NDA as a cadet, coming out, you are a leader. And it's unique to the military that from day one, as an officer, you are already leading. And as a leader that I was, and that I am key, and coupled with the areas of professional qualification, academic qualification, that has more than equipped me to be able to contribute my quota, to developing my people and my state. I feel that there is no hold back experience stopping me from coming out to lead my state. And that is why I had to come in to aspire to be the governor of the state.
Okay, so what
There's a lot to be offered.
Okay.
There's a lot to be offered. And, if you are sure that what you is not guided by personal aggrandizement or selfish motives, it's very ordinate for somebody like you to come up to aspire to lead the state.
Okay, you just said you have a lot to offer, but I'm just going to ask you, if you had the opportunity to implement 3 priority reforms immediately, what would they be among the lots?
Well, you know that government will continue, and as it is, the state government of Governor Locke that was not to develop the state. And what I can assure you is that we will look at the programs and then we'll continue putting in our best to better. So,
okay,
we'll look at the state and we'll keep working, we'll keep looking at what we're doing, we'll keep assessing the pros and cons of the developments, and we'll keep seeing how we can build more blocks, which is what our state is all about. It's a progressive development. When you meet your leaders, you analyze what your leaders are doing, and then you see what you can add to add value to what the leaders are doing. And in the process, you have a perfect goal within the state.
Okay. All right. So, General, when you compare the Nigeria you defended during your years in service with the Nigeria of today, do you believe the country is more secure or less secure, as we are being told that we are winning this fight against insecurity? And what are the major decisions that brought us to this point?
The scenarios of the last 30 years or 30 years back before the current scenario. Now, the population has increased. Barely about 30 years ago, Nigeria was not than 120 million. But now you're talking about 150 million. You know what goes with all this? Just about 5 years, just about 3 years back, the alliances with our neighboring countries, the Francophone countries, Niger, Chad, Mali, backed up. And the implications of it. Okay, let me not talk about the implications. Now, since the fall of Gaddafi in Libya, there have been massive movement of terrorists, ISIS terrorists from Middle East, even from North Africa, across the Sahel. And fortunately, along in the last years, the strong alliance within the Sahel region, by the Sahel country, provides a shocker. It blocks terrorists from coming in from Middle East, from coming in from North Africa into Sahel, and West Africa. But unfortunately, that buffer is no longer there. So there's free flow of terrorists in very ungoverned spaces. That is one factor. Two, population has grown. There is massive population increase. And this with massive and excessive stealing of illegal mining, especially in some states across the northern part of the country, are giving a free movement of free resources, for individuals to come and then acting problems in country. Of course, we have picture of hardmen and other bandits that come into the camp to cause a lot of problems. But the good news is that look at the last 6 months, a lot has been achieved and is still currently being achieved. The last of this was what happened to the actors when the government has paid to actors by 80% for colors and above. No, by 80% for 100% people.
Yes. 50% to corner and above. And 30 for
private soldier.
Yes.
Junior soldier.
Yes.
Now, the implication of this morale, welfare, motivation is being currently optimized. That is one. Two, just about 2 weeks now, the government is from 8 to 12. And this is coupled with the planned 20,000 merits. So what we have boots the ground.
Okay. Let's also because of our time, let's also look at the issue of retired generals because some retired officers and veterans say that after years of sacrifice, they are left battling pension delays, healthcare challenges, and insufficient support. Why does Nigeria appear to celebrate military service during ceremonies, but struggle to provide consistent welfare after retirement?
For the retired personnel, the promptness of payment of monthly pension. My pension for July was to pay on around the 4th of July, if I'm not mistaken. So it's always very wrong. But most of the time it comes earlier than even the salaries of people that are still actively engaged. 1 or 2 days, different, which is not bad at all. Of course, for the issue of gratuity, there could be a little lag. And that is why when the expectations are that for retirement, it takes 3 months to give enough room for documentation. So that we really 2 months and look at the but by and large, when it comes to military pension, must praise the government, must praise the but there's some areas for improvement. And that is the organization. People that retired 25 years ago, salaries as at that time was around 20,000. And now that around probably might be collecting maybe 200,000. See, there will be a lot of gap.
Yes.
Take for retirement. So those are areas that our head state ensure that people are fairly treated.
Okay.
Government are not doing very well.
Yeah.
But of course, I understand that subject to resource availability, even the graduate should come in ready.
And all
The
right.
time that people have to take for 6 months before they get there.
The gratuity. Okay. All right. In your opening remark, I love the fact that you talked about youths who might want to take interest in Nigerian army, but we also know that recruitment into the force seems to be an Herculean task. Many youths say they have struggled to get enlisted, but have never been successful. Why it also seems that the level of patriotism in Nigeria is waning on a daily basis. How do you think government can address these as we need as many hands as possible to address insecurity in the land? I mean, making recruitment for youths a top priority.
Government, in the last 12 months or thereabouts, have opened up training centers, additional training centers, to ensure that more personnel have come to them. Before now, we only have a training center in Zambia that is depot NA. But two additional ones have been active. You have one in the state now, Abakaliki, and you have another one in Oshugo. So these are measures to improve the intakes. Even for officers, active for soldiers. Even for officers level, a lot of officers are being enlisted. A lot are being currently enlisted. So other than the regular combatant training, other and all commissioning process, which though are short duration but not necessarily short the quality of the officers
Okay.
being back and forth. But the government is doing a lot to increase the number of personnel, both as officers and as soldiers. This for the army, while for the air force that maybe the same thing is fully going on.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and like the process of recruitment, the process of commissioning for personnel is very rigorous.
Okay. All right, General. On your stewardship, we emphasize measurable outcomes over promises. If entrusted with a major public mandate or executive role, what three specific key performance indicators should the public judge your stewardship by after the first year?
Only three performance people for a public service appointment, be very, don't be that easy. It's a very wicked word because there are several areas that just look at almost simultaneously, and each of these areas can go with not less than 5 deliverables for performance indicators. Let me give an example. If I am government, if you look at the government at the level of state level, if you pick education, you want to see how the teachers are being trained, you want to see how the teachers are being generated, you want to see the welfare according to teachers, you want to see the students, what learning aids do they have, what level of syllabus, how is it, you want to see, infrastructure within the school. How many performance indicators now for education alone? We're talking about 5, 6, 7.
It's broad.
Where are the infrastructure for the hospitals? Do we need more hospitals? the existing ones, how effective are they? What about the equipment, the big tools for the teams, for other workers within that profession? How are you training them? What is their work? So it's a very difficult. Selectively, performance indicators is very difficult. There are several multiple performance indicators across all the gamut of the areas.
Okay. Okay, so this question, just one word. I'll ask you need to answer me with. You have been entrusted with soldiers, institutions, public funds, and leadership responsibility throughout your career. Which of those responsibilities weigh most heavily on your conscience?
Well, every responsibility weighs conscience. If you are given a leadership position, you are the level of accounts, the lines of accounts, they are multidimensional. You are accountable to the individuals that you are leading. You are accountable to the represent, and you are accountable to the court of God. So it's a lot of diverse multiplicity of accountability that you have to look at.
All right. Finally.
For example, if you have made a teacher, for example, when I was a commandant of Nigeria Army School of Finance and Administration, so like a red top. When you are a red top, you can imagine the level of accountability. What you are giving yourself. That is okay. The water, okay. The hostels, the lighting, the classrooms, the teachers, the lecturers.
All right.
It's multiple levels of stability.
Multiple. So finally, General, when the history of your transition from the military to public administration is written, what single legacy of service do you want to be remembered for?
Well, everywhere I've worked, I've been sure that I laid a lot of blocks and I built a lot of bridges. For example, when I entered the Army School of Finance and Administration, I looked at, okay, you are coming in not only as a soldier, but as a real professional with hundreds of professional, the highest level of accounting professional qualification, at the same time, the highest level of academic degree, which is a PhD. So the first thing I did is do a value chain, but to do an X-ray, a comprehensive X-ray of the system I'm living, and I look at all the areas. I saw the weaknesses, I saw the strengths, and I weighed them against established national and global based statistics and came up with measures, standard blueprints, that can improve results, that can improve performance, and all these were always done. For example, in that school, public finance, several departments were created that will improve the internal control, that will improve performance, that will improve peer review, that will ensure that staffs are focused, that will ensure that staffs are controlled, quality control, quality assurance, and several other things. These are areas I feel are put in place, and anywhere you go to any of those places, this man did a lot.
A lot, yeah. All right.
And I always want to remember what I put in.
Thank you very much, General, for sharing your experiences, insights, and vision with us today. And to our listener and viewer, we hope today's conversation has inspired you to reflect on the values of responsibility, of leadership, transparent governance, and of course, national development. Do join us again next time for another engaging conversation with leaders shaping our society. I am your host, Remy Allen, wishing you peace, progress, and responsible stewardship in all that you do. Goodbye, and God bless you.